This is the PLTR one-year overview reading for the year of 2025. It's currently March 31st, 2025, 9:01 p.m. Eastern Time. PLTR at the time of this reading is currently $84.40 USD. The shuffle video for the PLTR one-year reading for 2025 was created on March 25th, 2025 at 11:32 p.m. Eastern Time. So even though the first quarter has passed by, guys, the shuffle file will clearly show the authenticity of this video. The reason, if you're new to the channel, the reason why we're doing the full year of 2025 is because SO meta-analysis, the system standardized timeframes of one-year timeframes, and that helps us it helps us to extrapolate information, which I'm not going to get into at the beginning of one of these readings, but if you're in the Investor Profit University, you'll learn all about that stuff. Point being is that with a reading like this, we can actually go and cross-reference the first quarter against the actual chart of chart behavior that's transpired and get a good gauge of the actual accuracy of this reading. I think maybe once I've been like, this isn't so great, let's do the reading over. Usually it's on point. And so if you're new to the channel, guys, what we're going to go over is the overall trend direction and chart behavior throughout the year of 2025. We're going to give you chart behavior, chart information about the chart behavior for the year's highest high, information about the chart behavior for the year's lowest low, and we're going to give you one of the best trades that we see at the end of this video. I'll start out by, when we get into chart behavior, I'm going to start out by going through the week-by-week sequence of chart events and cross-referencing the actual chart of 2025 for this first quarter to see the accuracy. And provided that looks good, which I'm pretty sure it does, we'll continue onward week by week throughout the remainder of the year. After that, I'll give you one of the best trades that I see. Stay tuned for that at the end of the video. Now, it's important, two things before we get into this to understand. It's the sequence of chart events that was most important to pay attention to. SO meta-analysis was designed to predict timing and sequence of chart events, but the sequence of chart events is always going to be more accurate. If the timing is off, the sequence of chart events will keep you on track. And what I mean by that is not each card's energy going left to right across the screen represents 2 weeks. Well, they all represent 2 weeks of time, but not each card's energy will necessarily line up with perfectly with 2 weeks of time. And for that, you need to allot for up to 2 to 3 weeks of wiggle room in some cases, in some readings, not all, but sometimes. So for that reason, it's the sequence of chart events to pay closest attention to. It's also the reason why I do not recommend trading this information if you're just going off public information. You must have access to the trade alerts, our Discord trade alerts that you get as part of the total access subscription on our website, TR for Traders. Without the Discord trade alerts and live trading view chart drawings where we actually draw entry and exits, you're going to get yourself into trouble. Just don't do it. Look at this public video as a guide to what our expectations of what the year should look like, and a proof that extrasensory perception exists and can be used practically in the real world. With that said, let's get into it. So the overall theme and chart behavior, we have the Prince of Swords indicating a lot of volatility. There's likely a lot of price change covered, but not all in one direction, like one steady direction. It'll be like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth kind of stuff, and you'll get a lot of price change. There's probably multiple highs, multiple lows on a one-year chart scale in there. That's another thing. Everything I talk about in this reading is going to be on the scale of a one-year chart with one-day candlesticks, unless otherwise specified. Now, this volatility throughout the year, there'll be at least one overbought crest that we sell off from through multiple support levels. Behavior around the highest high. We have a push. We actually push the upper end of the range higher. It's a huge move, probably the biggest move of the year, pushing the upper end of the range higher into the highest high. Behavior around the lowest low. The Magus card indicating a significant trade opportunity. Usually there's an exit in there. I like to use the Magus card for exits because the Magus card usually brings the chart behavior that you've been waiting for. Well, here it comes with the Magus card. And usually it's a big move into and or out of the low when it's in the low significator position, but we'll look at that in more detail as we progress. Before I get into that day-by-day sequence, one more thing is that at least one of the local highs on the chart, not a highest high, but a local high on the one-year chart, is going to have a significant decline off of it. That'll stand out, a universal hexagram decline at least once, and I'll point out the locations where it's most likely to take place as we progress through the reading. All right, guys, now I'm going to get into that week-by-week sequence of chart events. Let's cross-reference the first quarter with what's transpired. All right, so we had a sharp drop at the beginning. This is a universal hexagram drop that you'll see here. This sharp drop here. Prominent trough, as indicated here with the red star. Prominent trough. This is January. There's an unexpected move to the upside out of the low, and the low forms when we have a decline to and through support to another support. We rotate sideways along that support before breaking down through multiple supports, off of the high into the low. So this is pretty solid so far. There's a prominent peak and a prominent trough on a 1-year chart scale there. And then we have, it looks like some price swinging right here at the very beginning of the month of February. The February high forms with a prominent move higher through key resistance. We stay above it briefly and break back down through it shortly thereafter with a full retracement. The later part of February, a sideways fluctuating rally preceding a decline, and it looks like the February low forms within close time proximity to an important peak on a 1-year chart scale, and it's probably indicating two lows, and you can see how that takes place. There's one low in February, another low in February with the peak right smack in the middle, and it's an important peak on a multi-day on a 1-year chart scale for sure there. All right, so in early March, we've got this trade opportunity here in early March. Interesting, and multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance. You can see how the early part of March, that's what takes place. The March low forms when a rally turns over, creating a crest, taking us into the low. And I'm advised to be cautious near the March high. The March high is within close time proximity to a prominent trough on a 1-year chart scale. And then in the later part of March, the science card, an important technical price level on a multi-year scale is highlighted here. In the later part of March, and I actually indicated this by marking it off with this this orange line here. So all of this looks really solid thus far, guys. And with that said, I would be very, very careful in the early part of April, because even though it appears to be a prominent peak in there on a 1-year chart scale, there's also a sharp drop somewhere in there. Now remember, it's plus or minus 2 weeks in some cases, so it could be that this is the unicursal taking us into these price swings, but I wouldn't count on that. I would be very, very cautious here. We have equal amounts of bulls and bear inflow and outflow in the early part of April, within sideways rotation. And then there's a brief peak at the April high that we sell off from through multiple support levels. The April low forms within close time proximity, where the April low is a prominent trough on a 1-year chart scale, and it also has highlighted within close time proximity to an important resistance level that we failed to break through many times before. Notable reversal that'll stand out on a 1-year chart scale in the later part of April. Either that or multiple reversals, but my sense is that it's probably a notable reversal to the downside. And the decline increases with momentum moving forward into the early part of May. There's a prominent peak on a 1-year chart scale within close time proximity to early May. Out of the May low, which starts out of a decline, there's a big move from the bottom of a range all the way to the top of a range, creating the May low. The May high forms when we have a rally along a diagonal trend line and we break through horizontal resistance, meet another resistance before pulling back to somewhere between those two price levels. Something that I left out, it also looks like the high for April and May is probably an overbought crest or near overbought crest that we sell off from through multiple supports. The later part of May, we have a pop and a drop, and it looks like some significant trade opportunity in there. I'll get into in the total access version. Another prominent peak on the cusp of May and June, and a lot of volatility in the early June. Within that period of volatility, we have a sharp drop that'll stand out in that volatility, taking us to a prominent trough. With the June high forms within a period of volatility that ends with a fast sudden move higher. It's also within close time proximity to a prominent trough on a 1-year chart scale. There's a sharp unicursal hexagram decline into the June low, and an intentional fake out or shake out, some sort of tricky chart behavior around the June low that will make you think, possibly make you do the wrong thing impulsively, or it's intended to make you do the wrong thing impulsively. So be very, very careful there. I would look for sideways rotational and key support after a sharp decline, to kind of give me an idea of where the bottom is there in June. And then in the later part of June, we have 3 crosses back and forth through the same price level. The first cross to the upside, the second cross to the downside, third cross to the upside, usually confirming a bullish trend. We'll see if that's the case when we move into the July portion. But something not to leave out here is that there is a sharp decline through multiple support levels. We have off of the June high as well. So we have this period of volatility ending with a fast and refire, and then a sharp decline off of that fast and refire. Now, in early July, we've got an important resistance level, important probably on a multi-year scale that's highlighted here in early July, and likely we decline from it with a sharp unicursal hexagram and then return to it in a not too distant future. It may be that the rally that's confirmed in the later part of June takes us into that resistance in early July, and it's a failed attempt to break the resistance. We decline pretty sharply from that resistance into a trough, probably in the second week of July, and the July low forms within close time proximity to a prominent peak on a 1-year chart scale. It also forms near a disappointing failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support. And what I mean by disappointing is usually the chart behavior leading into this attempt to break through resistance. The chart behavior usually indicates that we're going to break out, like we've established support or something, and we're going to break out through that resistance. And usually what happens with the disappointment cards is we'll break through it momentarily and then break back down through it and through key support, and in this case it'll be into a low. We have a U-shaped dip that forms near the intersection of two perpendicular diagonal trend lines around the later part of July, and on the cusp of July, we may have quite a lot of price change. There's an important trough on a 1-year chart scale there, an important range highlighted on a multi-year scale there in the early part of August, and we see a resistance level again. Most likely, these cards are so close to each other, the Princess of Swords and the Ace of Swords. Most likely, this is the same resistance level that we saw as highlighted for the Ace of Swords in the early part of July. So that'll be we'll revisit that resistance at the August high, and then there'll be a sharp drop off of that August high. A rally is halted in the later part of August with a decline through key support, and the August low, there'll be sideways rotation that ends with a fast move higher out of the low. The August low is also a prominent trough on a 1-year chart scale. We also likely have near overbought or overbought crests around those resistance levels in early July and at the high of August that we sell off them through multiple supports. In early September, we had 3 pokes through the send trend line, followed by a sharp drop off of the 3rd poke. There's likely to be somebody speaking in early September. What they're speaking, what they talk about should not be relied upon or trusted. And with that said, there's a breakout to the upside. Even so, a breakout to the upside into the September high, turning into the breakout's like false. It turns over. We decline pretty notably in the later part of September, down 2 and through support, meeting a second support, and then we rotate sideways along that second support. The September low forms from a near overbought crest that we sell off from through multiple support levels into the low. Now the decline and sideways rotation in the later part of September, kind of like sidewaysy, decliney, takes us into early October, and a decline ends in early October with a fast sudden move higher. Erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level or near the near the October high, and within that erratic behavior, we most likely revisit a crest that we recently met as an opportunity. My sense is that it's probably the same high that we had in September. Hard to say. Probably, especially because we've got this Dominion price swings kind of thing going on. This is also a breakout ruin, breakout card, breakout ruin, prominent peak on a 1-year chart scale, revisiting a crest there at the October high. Now, near the October low, we have bumping along resistance sideways, possibly breaking through, bumping along resistance sideways some more, maybe breaking through again, bumping along resistance. The majority of the behavior near the low is going to be bumping up against resistance and moving sideways. Now, those price swings in the later part of October turn into a sharp decline through multiple support levels taking place in the early part of November into a prominent trough on a 1-year chart scale. The November low, there's a rally out of it, offering opportunity to open up a short position or close long positions. This usually indicates that we're going to see the same low either in the same month, or more likely in the case of a 1 year, we'll see it in the following month. It could be the same low, or it could be consecutively lower low when you see the Princess of Wands in the low signification position. In the later part of November, we have a prominent peak on a 1-year chart scale. We have a decline that offers opportunity to open up a long position. I'll talk about this in more detail when we get into the total access version. There's a lot of price change around the November high, a lot of price change into and or out of it, and we likely rotate sideways, at least temporarily, at the November high. In early December, we have a sideways rotation that turns into a big move higher, and then more sideways rotation. A lot of price change covered to the upside. It looks like out of a prominent trough there on a 1-year chart scale. Big move, one of the biggest moves of the year into the December high. Out of the December low, which is likely early in the month, we have a fast sudden move higher, and then there's an important support level on a multi-year scale highlighted in the later part of December. A sneak preview for 2026. There'll be the revisiting of a support level on a multi-year scale that we met probably in this year of 2025 as an opportunity. We'll revisit it in 2026, it looks like, and there should be a sharp drop again on a multi-year scale, most likely. Now I'm going to give you one of the best trades that I see for the year, but remember, guys, this is an guide to expectations, what I expect to see as the trades coming through fruition in 2025. You should not trade this information without my guidance. You must have total access subscription on our website, Terra for Traders, with the live Discord trade alerts and live trading view chart links if you actually plan to trade this stuff. Otherwise, think of it as paper trading to prove what's possible with this system, and once you see what's possible, then come on board. It's worth it. All right, so one of the best trades that I see okay, so we're in April here. We're going to establish a prominent peak, probably a highest high thus far in April, and we'll decline pretty notably from that into May. And once we get into we'll see an important trough on a 1-year chart scale with a big move that starts out of it probably mid-month of May. Likely to be our lowest low thus far or close, but either way, out of a decline that starts in April from a brief peak and continues into May, you'll want to open up a long position and ride this move starting out of a decline from the bottom of a range all the way to the top of a range. You'll likely close out of the long position around the cusp of May, June. You'll probably close out of it at the end of the third week of May, and if not, it will come back down a little bit towards the cusp, like the end of May, and then there'll be another move to the upside to a peak in around the cusp of May, June, and that's where you would exit out. And this is something that, guys, if you've got the total access subscription with the Discord and we get up into this, feel free to ask me, hey, is this trade still on? It's always a good idea to double check with me before you hop into any of these trades, just to make sure. I'll take a look at it in real time and make sure that it's still looking solid. And provided that it's looking solid, gosh, Hermes, you're getting so heavy. You're getting so heavy, you know. Provided it's looking solid, I'll give you the A-OK on that. So as far as the timing of the highest high and the lowest low for the year, that's stuff that's in the total access version as well. And the way that you get that total access version, you go to our website, Terra for Traders, hover over Order Now, sorry guys. Go to our website, Terra for Traders, hover over Order Now. Click on Subscriptions. Total Access is our premier subscription. This gives you access to everything on the website. It includes early access, which gives you the day trade alerts for SPY and the swing trade alerts for SPY. Also, the earliest access to any of our public posts that you can get. They come out on our Discord channel well ahead of them. Right here in the... where is it? Early access videos. Hermes, you're getting distracting now. Go on. The early access videos, they come out here first before the public videos come out on YouTube. You also have access to the live streams questions here. You got the SPY alerts. You got the SPY chat. And you also get the alert channels for all of these. We do monthly predictions by the day for all of these tickers in crypto, as well as yearly predictions by the week for all of these tickers in crypto. Not all of these have charts, but they're getting filled in as we speak. All of that is part of the total access subscription portion of this video, along with the highest highs, the lowest lows for all of those 1 years. And we're also going to take a look at this multi-year in the total access version. But with that said, guys, this is $500 a month. Early access is $100, monthly access is $300, total access is $500 a month. All of these prices are likely going up at the end of Mercury retrograde or in the later part of April. So if you get them at these lower price levels, you'll have that price for the lifetime of the subscription. So get it while it lasts, my friends. Much love and appreciation. Blessings to all my supporters out there. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one.